than to be with the children of the wicked. So not all of them are, but many of them. Yeah. Many of them are. So when the media spins it, they make us think that, oh, it's all these blacks coming over for a Happy Meal or something like that, you know, and some fries and a shake or something like that. But many of them are coming over there to support, you know, that ingathering that they believe is the true Zion or is the true Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, that would make sense.
And the only reason why the European Jews finally, so-called, but see, they did this, what they did when they, Operation Solomon and Operation Moses. The only reason why they did this is because at that time, right, there was big fire globally, internationally about the racism, the overt racism of the Jews who call themselves Jews, and had everybody's sympathy about the so-called 6 million in the Holocaust.
The Holocaust, right.
But then they're seeing these people being Nazis, right? To, on one hand, the so-called Philistines or Palestinians.
The Jews have now been doing the same thing. They're doing what the Nazis did in Kristallnacht in Germany. I mean, they're kicking doors, they're breaking in. And
let's not forget this one, not to cut the eye, beloved, but let's not forget this one. How about the eugenics program? How about the sterilization? I mean, the sterilization of all of the, all the Ethiopian, Jewish and black Hebrew women over there. This is the same thing that they was doing to the Jews, the so-called Negroes over in the Americas and the Tuskegee experiment. And who knows what happened to all the Katrina victims? You see, even when Auschwitz and the so-called genocide was going on over there against the real religious Jews, really what they was killing off was the people who believed in the Torah and a lot of other mixed people and even a lot of black people over there they were killing off over there and everything. But while that was going on, people in Germany didn't even know. So it's like, but from what I've been hearing, from what reports has been, you know, coming in and out there, who knows what has happened to a lot of the missing black people in America, like in Katrina. So,
oh, you mean like the people losing organs and stuff?
I mean, yeah, the organs and what about all those people in Katrina? Where did they all end up? We know they didn't return. Many of them could not return to New Orleans.
I don't mean to cut there, but I got a documentary that talks about this called Prisoners of Katrina that BBC did. You know, I mean,
word?
and I forgot one by Francis Chris Wilson on Katrina that, you know, because I said I listed things I want, and I know you have my list, but I had these, and it's funny you mentioned that because I just saw them the other day.
Hey.
Katrina, I know.
Hey, it's time to get some information out there. And if you have copies of those and, you know, can work with ones-on-ones who need copies, definitely put that out there because, my point basically, because there's a lot of different lines of, there's a lot of different, how can I say, paper trails and evidence trails. There's a lot of different, cascade subtitles. Right. But let's just return into the main point. The main point why Haile Selassie, and this is what I told to I and I sister Wazero Lishan, Sister Lishan. You probably know she had a website, on the YouTube, some very good, vids and everything else. But this is what I told her. I said her dibs was this, that it was an Eritrean, ambassador or something that many Ethiopians believe His Majesty made the wrong move. Not many, but certain Ethiopians, uncertain ones believe this because he was misadvised by a so-called Eritrean, advisor. Now, from our experience, really in the depths of the belly of the beast, we know that's just a lot of part of COINTELPRO, you know, because they already have their issues, Ethiopian versus Eritrean. You know what I'm saying? So if anything goes wrong, you can just find, you know what I mean, who is the unalike, or who is the, the Jews and Samaritan. The whole Ethiopia Eritrean thing is nothing but the biblical, Jews and Samaritan, those in the north versus those in the south. And you'll find that over and over and over. It's a template there. But I told her that the real reason that a lot of Ethiopians don't even recognize, because they're looking at themselves being a little overly selfish, right, is the black Jews, right, or the Ethiopian and the Hebrews in the Americas and the Caribbean. What was their part within this reestablishment of the state of Israel? Because before the so-called white Jews had focused on that particular land, they were focusing on Rwanda. They were focusing on parts of Uganda too. In Uganda. Why were they focusing on Africa? And they.
I've read that too. That Uganda, because there's an ancient, tribes that they claim were biblical, but also it's because of the resources too.
Well, it's also because of the resources, but then another important point, and this is what I was trying to do in Black Israel in a couple of the videos that was named Black Israel's Real Estate, that I put up recently, is when you look at the fullness of the promised land, according to what was promised to Father Abraham, it's from the river, the eastern side of Africa. The river, and it was in John's mind, it's not just that little beachfront property, but it's Arabia, right? North and south, all the way to the river of Euphrates that leads into Babylon, going to the east, and then coming to the west, it's to Africa, the eastern seaboard of Africa, from the top of Egypt all the way down to some of the headwaters that we find down in South Africa. And that is why you find some of the oldest Hebrew and black, or African, if you want to say for now, Jewish communities.
The Limba tribe.
And the Beta Israel of Ethiopia. So it was a strategic move of the state of Israel. Right. It was a strategic move of the state of Israel to bring in those blackies, because after all, right, every white supremacy needs some Negroes, needs some niggas there. If you understand the pyramidical system, you need somebody on the bottom. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why